Let's get some more people in the chat room before I get started. But I wanna play this video for you guys, and then I'm going to give some commentary on it. How's everybody doing? Make sure to super chat. If you super chat, there are two options. You either could get the postcard with me with the Royal Ashanti Guards, or the postcard with me and the King of Alada in Benin. So make sure you super chat, and I'll send out a card. But I'm gonna play this video for you guys real quick. Hold on one second. Let me get this. Share the screen. All right, here we go. All right, let me stop the let me go ahead and stop it now. Did you guys see that? Now, this is what you have to understand about this video that I just showed you guys. This European woman, okay, I know a lot of you guys are upset, when Europeans partake in African traditions. I get that. But what you have to understand is that this European woman will have a stable full of young African men who are desperate to get to Europe, who are desperate to get a green card. I think that's the bigger issue. Let's not just focus on, how many are offended when our culture is misappropriated, how many are offended when Europeans come and partake in the culture and you get upset. Well, you again have to understand the bigger issue is, and I've seen this with my own eyes, just traveling throughout Africa. A woman like this will have a stable full of young African men who are desperate to get a green card just to get to Europe. I'm telling the truth. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen it. I've seen it in Zanzibar. Old European woman like this walking hand in hand, holding hands with her young African lover. You have the Maasai boys, pretty much prostitutes, hooking up with old creepy women like this. And then, of course, I've seen it in just about every country I've been to in Africa. Young African men who are desperately looking for opportunity outside of Africa will hook up with an old European woman like this just to get a green card to Europe. That's the bigger issue. What you guys are focused on is, she's misappropriating the culture. She doesn't care about the culture. They steal everything from us. They take everything from us. They don't respect it. It's a joke to them. They'll steal it and claim it's theirs. But again, the bigger issue is that this lady has a stable full of young African men. And by African standards, this is probably one of the better looking European women that come to Africa. They all resemble her. Older, they all, I'm telling you, they all look like her. They all resemble her. The white women, European women that come to Africa all resemble her for the most part. And they will snatch up a bunch of young African men easily. Will have a field day. Because at the end of the day, they know that many African men are desperate. What's up, anti-gravity? Many African, oh, you missed the video. You're late. Many African, in fact, let me play the video one more time. Mr. Loudpack, did you donate on Patreon or did you super chat? But let me play this video again, you guys. I gotta play this video again. Hold on one second. For all those who are late, let me play this video one more time. All right, so the correlation between this video and the topic today is that this woman, okay, and I've seen it with my own eyes, will have a stable full of young African men, a stable, just to get a green card or citizenship or a visa to Europe in the name of opportunity. So I know a lot of Black people or Africans are upset. Oh man, they're partaking in our traditions. You know, it's culture misappropriation, cultural appropriation. I know a lot of people, okay, who are upset on Facebook because of that. They're stealing their cultural vultures, stealing the culture. But that's the bigger issue is the fact that a lot of African men are so desperate to get out of Africa that they will hook up with European women that look like this in the name of opportunity. So that should tell you how much our African governments are failing us. I mean, and anti-gravity, that's the point. You'll see these young, handsome, no homo, handsome looking African men, like you said, ripped up, getting with these old, creepy European women in the name of a green card. I see it all the time. When I'm in Africa, I see it, especially when I was in Zanzibar. Walking through the streets of Stone Town, holding hands, tongue kissing. It's like, bro, you are a young, ripped buck. Where's your dignity? I mean, where's your self-respect? In the name of opportunity. So that's option A. Option B is to risk crossing the Sahara to Libya in hopes to crossing the Mediterranean to Europe. That's option B for a lot of them. So some choose option A, some choose option B. But I have personally, I could testify to option A. I have seen it with my own eyes. I mean, a European tourist like this, white lady, will have a stable full of young black men in Africa, all hoping that they get their green cards to Europe. Kill, what's up, brother? Mr. Loudpack, did you send me your mailing address? If not, email me your mailing address. I know you've seen anti-gravity. I've seen it. And especially, and even with African women, I promise you, whenever I'm at the airport in an African country, leaving to go to come back to America, I always see a young, pretty African woman with the most creepiest looking, ugliest looking, wrinkled white guy. Always, without a doubt, never fails. I remember when I was in Ghana, in Accra, leaving Accra to come back to America. Saw it at the airport. Young African girl with the creepiest looking European man. I'm like, God damn. All in the name of a green card or security. Oh, anti-gravity. It's huge in Nairobi. But let's even go deeper in regards to Nairobi, especially with the African women. It's to the point in Nairobi, in Kenya, where white expats will completely segregate themselves from Kenyan society for the most part with their African wives. Like, I've noticed that when I was in Nairobi, that when white expats come to Nairobi or to Kenya, they'll get their Kenyan wives and completely segregate themselves. Like, they'll have their own community of just white expats and with their black Kenyan wives. I've seen this. Like, completely remove themselves from Kenyan society and make their own little community with their the white expats with their African wives. Like, I noticed that last time when I was in Kenya. Completely segregated. I don't know, Patty. I mean, you want something that's easy on the eye. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, this is normal. Like, the lady in this video, this is a normal European woman that comes to Africa. I swear, nothing but fours and below come to Africa when it comes to white women and European women. This is normal. In fact, to many African men who are desperate to get out of Africa, who are like, fuck it, I'm not crossing the Sahara to Libya, and then from Libya to getting on that boat that might capsize or might sink, or I might get kidnapped and traded and sold as a slave. I mean, this is a dime piece. This lady's a dime piece. When it comes to European women in Africa, this woman right here is a dime piece. And I'm telling you, you will see her hugged up, booed up with some young African man. Guarantee you. And it has to get to the point now, just, if you're an African leader, okay, when you see your African men holding hands with a woman like this because there's lack of opportunity in your country, he needs a green card to get out, I mean, this in itself should make you want to do something for your people. Because man, when I see it, I'm just like, oh my God. Like, is it that bad? I mean, the weather is beautiful year round, and you're this desperate to be in Europe where it's freezing cold, laid up with something like this. Like I said, I've never seen all my years in Africa. I think I might have seen 1-6 as far as from Europe, a European woman, maybe a 6, maybe. If they are a 6, they come with their European husbands. But for the most part, it's 5 and belows. And a 5, a single, I would say a single European woman that's not married that comes to Africa, she's a 5 or below. But a 5 might as well be a dime piece. That's right, Kellen. She got a fat ass. I mean, she's a butterhead. Everything is fine on her, but her head don't even work in this situation. Oh, black. The Black Feminist Coalition they're still taking L's, and it's funny. It's hilarious. We'll get into that later. But yeah, so it's either get with the creepy looking white woman or risk being traded on the auction block in Libya. Those are the options for a lot of African men who are trying to get out of Africa. Man, it's embarrassing. I mean, this is worse than I mean, a lot of people make jokes about the Russian mail order brides, but at least they're getting cake. I mean, a lot of times these African women and African men who are hooking up with these creepy looking Europeans have end up with nothing to show for it, nothing to show from it, absolutely nothing. Man, that's a heavy price. I mean, this is a heavy price. I can't do it. Anti-gravity, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I've seen this numerous of times. Numerous of times. I kid you not. I guarantee it. I guarantee I'm going to see a situation like this whenever I'm in Africa. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And then the irony of it is, especially for the African men, it's like playing Russian roulette. A lot of them don't even end up making it to Europe anyway. They end up being stuck in Africa. So even though they get married, even though they make it to Libya, a lot of them don't make it. A lot of them don't make it to Europe anyway. So again, they're stuck in Africa. So they're taking L's all the way around. And like I said, it's just, in my honest opinion, it's just embarrassing. I mean, what can you do with her? I mean, let me play this one more time for you guys. I mean, what can you do with this? This woman has to be in her 70s. I mean, what can he do with that? And like I said, a lot of people are upset about her partake, or more upset about her partaking in the tradition or the culture of the dancing. I'm like, that's surface level. Again, the issue is she has a stable full of African men, a stable, I guarantee you, at her disposal anytime. Like the minute when when she finished with that dance, I guarantee you later on that night she hooked up with a young African buck. Guaranteed. Especially if she's single. That's not a man. I don't well, that's not a I don't think that's a man. No, that's not a man, because they wouldn't play that shit in Africa. They wouldn't play that shit. That's not a man. They wouldn't definitely would not tolerate that. That's not a man. But again, like I said, after sex tourism, that too. Sophronia, Sophronia, that too, sex tourism. But I guarantee you, after the dance or the ritual, she hooked up. Yeah, she got her bull for the night. After after her ritual, her dance, she hooked up with a young African. Doug, what's up, brother? She hooked up with a young African buck in hopes that he gets a green card to Europe. He said, "Fuck the going across the Sahara to Libya. I'm gonna hook up with this creepy looking European woman and tell her I love her and whisper all types of nasty shit in her ear, hopefully, in hopes that we could get married and that she takes me to Europe and I get a green card." That's what happened later on that night. I guarantee you. I've seen it. Because again, when it comes to European women, that's about as good looking as you're gonna get. That right there. And I know a lot of people in the chat were saying she's ugly as hell, but I'm telling you, when it comes to European women in Africa that go to Africa, that is about as fine as they're gonna get. Her right there, and they will have African men all over them. Dead serious. Dead serious. All right, so let's get into the other topic. Black feminists still taking L's. The smart ones make sure the women send them money when they go back to Europe. I met guys in Nairobi who did that hustle. But how much are they sending though? That's the question. I mean, I can't even do it. Like, I mean, your dignity to be. I mean, what kind of? I mean, you have to really compromise yourself to gigolo at this level. I mean, this is nothing short of being a dusty gigolo. Why do you want to be a dusty gigolo? Where's your dignity at? Why would you compromise yourself for a few dollars to be a dusty, thank you, $500 per month to be a dusty gigolo? That's what you are. If you're an African man and you're running this hustle on these types of European women, you are a dusty gigolo. Thank you. How much money is worth your pride? Anti-gravity, you could tell them I said that. Tell your buddies who are hooking up with European women like this that they are dusty gigolos. For God's sake. All right, so the next topic I want to speak on is how Black feminists are still taking L. So, and I spoke on this a lot last year, how Black feminists are some of the most delusional, but it's probably one of the delusional um, groups here in America. I mean, you had last year after the election, or the year before last, November 2016 or whatever it was. You have black feminists upset because white women voted for Donald Trump. You have black feminists upset that white women are loyal to white men. Like they just didn't understand why white women are loyal to white men. What kind of delusion is that? So black feminists thought for some odd reason that white women were going to choose them over their white fathers, uncles, cousins, and brothers. This is the mentality we're dealing with when we deal with a lot of these black feminists. So then black feminists, like, hold on, I got to call her out. Hold on 1 second. Let me get her name. What's this lady's name? Hold on, let me get her name for you guys. Here we go. Her name is Tamika D. Mallory. She organized the white women versus white women who voted for Trump march. Oops, my bad, the women's march. She organized the white women versus white women who voted for Donald Trump march. Oops, my bad. I think that slipped again. The women's march. So she goes out of her way to organize that. Again, this march had nothing to do with, I mean, this was the agenda of this march had little to do about women's rights. All right. It was more about them women being upset at white women. All right, so you had white women and non-white women upset at the majority of white women who were loyal to their white fathers, husbands, sons, cousins, and uncles. They just could not understand that. How white women are loyal to white men. So you had a black woman who organized the white women versus white women who voted for Trump march. So recently it came out that she supported Louis Farrakhan, which I love Louis Farrakhan. So of course, you know, and this is the thing. So number one, Louis Farrakhan practices a Semitic religion. They call him anti-Semite. He practices a Semitic religion. He practices Islam, which is Semitic religion. Semitic religion. That's number one. Number two, if we were to remove Jew and replace it with Muslim or Islam, I guarantee you, people will not be as outraged as they are when he mentions Jew. All right, and what Farrakhan was talking about or speaking on was the role Jews play in Hollywood in regards to what's going on in Hollywood. Because for the most part, they control Hollywood. I mean, there is a movie I watched called in fact, let me tell you the name of the documentary. Hold on 1 second. The Industry of Their Own, How the Jews Created Hollywood. Guys, this is it's called an Empire of Their Own, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. So pretty much Louis Farrakhan called out how Jews are, what they're doing to Hollywood and how they're turning it into nothing more than an industry of perversion. And they got upset, which is the truth. So Tamika speaks or supports Louis Farrakhan or spoke at, I want to say Savior's Day maybe, or she supports Louis Farrakhan. All right. And the liberals turned on her. All right. Tamika was on the board of Planet, what is it? Tamika Mallory. What was it? Planned Parenthood. I'm sorry. She was on the board of Planned Parenthood. And they got rid of her. Now, Planned Parenthood, okay, was founded by Margaret Sanger, who was a confirmed racist. All right. Let's look up some of Margaret Sanger's quotes. All right. Margaret Sanger was a confirmed racist. All right, believe that black people should be eliminated. She made very inflammatory remarks when it came, I mean, not even inflammatory remarks. All right. I mean, she wanted black people gone for the most part. Yeah, but she was racist. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was racist. So they have the audacity, an organization that was founded by a racist, was founded by the racist Margaret Sanger. They want to get rid of Tamika Mallory. What's up, everybody? And Hillary Clinton looked up to Margaret Sanger as well. And the point I was trying to make, especially the black feminists, is that you criticize the black community, you criticize black men. You're no longer wanted by the white feminists. Okay, now you're no longer wanted by white liberals or liberals in general. So now you have nowhere to go. And that's the point I was making. Last year, the year before last, and I was speaking on black feminists still taking L's. So all the work you did to organize the white women versus white women who voted for Trump march has now all gone down the drain. All for naught. When you could have been putting that energy into the black community. Let me tell you what's going on in the black community right now. Hold on one second. Hold on, I read an article. In fact, hold on, let me pull it up right here. Let me read this article to you guys. This is what's going on in the black community right now. All right, so this article was in the Washington Post. No progress for African Americans on home ownership, unemployment, and incarceration in 50 years. All right, let me read these facts. 7.5% of African Americans were unemployed in 2017 compared with 6.7% in 1968. The rate of home ownership, one of the most important ways for working and middle-class families to build wealth, has remained virtually unchanged for African Americans in the past 50 years. Black home ownership remains just 40%, trailing 30 points behind the rate for whites, who have seen modest gains during that time. The share of incarcerated African Americans has nearly tripled between 1968 and 2016. One of the largest and most depressing developments in the past 50 years, especially for Black men, researchers said, African Americans are 6.4 times as likely than whites to be jailed or imprisoned, compared with 5.4 times as likely in 1968. We have not seen progress because we still have not addressed the issue of racial inequality in this country. So instead of having all hands on deck and dealing with issues like this, you are more concerned and upset at the white women who voted for Donald Trump. Because that women's march was nothing more than a front for we are upset at the women who voted for Donald Trump. That's all that was. So you want to put all your energy and resources and time into organizing marches like that, instead of putting all hands on deck and coming into the Black community and dealing with these issues. That's what we're dealing with. And then the audacity of Planned Parenthood to boot you or abort you because of your support of Louis Farrakhan, But Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a confirmed, not even suspect, confirmed racist. That's what we're dealing with. She was a eugenist. She was a racist. Oh, let me find some of these quotes. Okay, here we go. Sanger believed she was working in accord with the universal law of evolution. She maintained that the brains of Australian Aborigines were only one step more evolved than chimpanzees, as just under blacks, Jews, and Italians. This is who we're dealing with. The founder of Planned Parenthood. Her magazine even argued for state-sponsored sterilization programs, forcibly sterilizing the less capable. So no coincidence that when a lot of these organizations come to Africa, specifically Kenya, in the name of vaccinations, that they end up sterilizing a lot of these African women. Don't Kenyan women. Don't believe me? Look it up. So this woman, these comments, who started Planned Parenthood, the founder, the Sister Mallory, partner with them, and they have the audacity to let her go because of her support of Louis Farrakhan. When I doubt Planned Parenthood has ever came out, and correct me if I'm wrong, if the information is out there, please post it, renouncing their founder. So they want you to renounce Louis Farrakhan, but they refuse to renounce the founder, their founder. Here we go. I want to read this. Let's see here. As her organization grew, Sanger set up more clinics in the communities of other dysgenic races, such as blacks and Hispanics. Sanger turned her attention to Negroes in 1929 and opened another clinic in Harlem in 1930. Sanger, in alliance with eugenists and through initiatives such as the Negro Project, exploited black stereotypes in order to reduce the fertility of African Americans. The all-white staff and the sign identifying the clinic as a research bureau raised the suspicions of the black community. They feared that the clinic's actual goal was to experiment on and sterilize black people. The fears were not unfounded. Sanger once addressed the women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan in Silver Lake, New Jersey, and received a dozen invitations to speak to similar groups. Flynn claims that she was on good terms with other racist organizations. Sanger believed the Negro District was the headquarters for the criminal element and concluded that, as the title of a book by a member of her board proclaimed, the rising tide of color against white world supremacy was a rise that had to be stemmed. To deal with the problem of resistance among the black population, Sanger recruited black doctors, nurses, ministers, and social workers in order to gain black patients' trust in order to limit or even erase the black presence in America. So again, Planned Parenthood has the audacity, okay, to get rid of Tamika Mallory because of her support of Louis Farrakhan. Okay, they expect Tamika Mallory to renounce Louis Farrakhan But has Planned Parenthood renounced Margaret Sanger? Have they? I mean, this is what we're dealing with. Oh, you must be late, Janelle. Nah, earlier in the podcast, we were speaking on how African men have the option. A lot of African men, their option in regards to seeking opportunity is to hook up with creepy looking European women, creepy looking white women, or risk being kidnapped and traded as slaves in Libya. So yeah, you missed that part. You got to catch up. But yeah, but that's what we're dealing with here. That's why I just laugh at these black feminists. I just laugh. Because you guys are still taking L's to this day. That's why when I see my African sisters saying that they're feminists, I'm like, why? Because this is the issue, and this is what I always bring up or compare it to. As you noticed in this article, okay, that I just read about Margaret Sanger, Black Americans, we are the guinea pigs of the planet. Okay. And the point I want to make, and the issue that I see, or the issue that's going on, is that a lot of times African women, they come to America. I don't know what it is about America, but they come to America to get educated. And they learn many of the, I guess, ideologies. They partake in the ideologies that are popular, but have completely failed the Black community. And then for some reason, they think what they've learned is going to work in the African community back home in Africa. And all I can do is laugh and say that, look, if it failed here, what makes you think it's going to work in Africa? But many, for some reason, think it's going to work in Africa. Feminism failed the Black community. It's continuing to fail the Black community. Black feminists are continuing to take L's. Womanism is another word for feminism. I thank you. A lot of first generation African women are taking on feminism. I have no clue why, because it has completely failed. It has not worked in the Black community. But for some reason, they think it's going to work in the African community. Now, feminism might work for white women, but Black feminists have absolutely nothing to show as far as progress in relation to the Black collective. If so, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Black people who are in this chat room, how has the Black collective benefited from feminism? Coretta Scott King wasn't a feminist. I don't know who Zora Neale Hurston is. Alice Walker. I mean, okay, let's deal with Alice Walker. Hold on one second. Who is Alice Walker? She sounds familiar. That's my point. I don't even know who Alice Walker is. Okay, she wrote the Color Purple. Okay. Is Alice Walker a feminist? Or see, this is the thing. We have to separate, because I hear people throwing out the word womanism and women's rights. We have to separate women's rights from feminism. I'm going to tell you the objective of feminism. I guarantee you this is the objective of feminism, because whenever a feminist enters the room, it goes to these talking points right here immediately. This is how you know you're dealing with a feminist that could care less about women's rights. It's all about feminism. If you're Black and if you don't agree with the LGBTQ community, you're a homophobe. I'm not cooking for no man unless he's a white man, and where the white men at. That's it. Those are the object. Prove me wrong. That's it. If you don't agree with the LGBT, I'm telling you, whenever feminists come on the scene, it goes immediately to that right there. Whenever a black feminist comes on the scene, I guarantee you, you can be talking about, Black women getting roles as CEOs for major corporations, Fortune 500 companies, Black women moving up the corporate ladder. The minute a so-called Black feminist comes on the scene, I guarantee you the subject is going to switch to if you don't agree in totality with the LGBTQ community, you're a homophobe. I ain't cooking for no man unless he's a white man, because all these Black feminists, for some reason, they're either homosexual, queer, homosexual, or they date white men. And where the white men at? That's what it is. That's what it is. Alice Walker quoted womanism for feminism because feminism was whitewashed. I need to study womanism more, but the majority of these so-called womanists that are walking around sound exactly like feminists, But bro, what you have to understand is feminism has little to do with equal pay. I'm telling you, it goes from equal pay. Like you might spend a minute on equal pay, then it goes immediately. Like say you have a 1 hour discussion with the Black feminist. It might be 5 minutes equal pay, 55 minutes on if you don't agree with the LGBTQ community, you're a homophobe, and where the white men at. That's it. That's why feminism has nothing to do with woman empowerment. And that's why if Alice Walker came up with the term womanism and it's supposed to be different from feminism, the feminists have hijacked womanism, completely hijacked womanism. It's been hijacked. I mean, this is feminism at work. Hold on. This is feminism. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to give you an example of feminism in regards to the Black community. Here we go. Here goes feminism. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this up for you guys. Here goes feminism.
And we are all the way down here at Amber Rose's 3rd annual Slut Walk, and the sluts are out.
It's a lituation. We got all types of demographics.
And we're going to find Amber, and we're going to take you inside, and we're going to answer all the questions that I have around what is a slut walk. You know what a slut walk is?
We're going to find out. So stay tuned, y'all.
Well, let's go.
This walk is personal for me.
Hold on. Let me go. Hold on.
This walk is.
If you believe in equality, you are a feminist. Again, it's not the difference between woman empowerment and feminism. All right, is woman empowerment, they will focus more specifically on pay, on women gaining more roles, in corporate America, more CEO roles, more roles in upper management, being paid the same rate or same salary as their male equals. That's what woman empowerment is. And they're very clear and specific. Feminists, again, if you do not agree with the LGBTQ community, you're a homophobe, and where are the white men at?
Personal for me. Being molested as a child and becoming very promiscuous, trying to find love. We're taking back the word slut. Nobody can tell us what to do. We own our own bodies. It's up to us. We wanted to be surrounded just by complete body positivity. No shaming, no slut shaming.
We all live in a culture that encourages us to do that, but it's so much more enlightened and
Feminist as fuck.
compassionate to be kind, and that's what really today is all about.
A lot of people are blind to the fact that women aren't being treated equally, and that's a big problem.
Not only women, but embracing the LGBT community. And embracing the LGBT community. Women, but embracing the LGBT community.
And that's a big problem.
Not only women, but embracing the LGBT community. Embracing the LGBT community and just equality amongst men and women. You love you. Fuck everything else.
Taking stance in full force of everything that we are is really beautiful, and I really just came to see all these beautiful people in their natural elements, so it's awesome.
You want to go out and have a little less clothes on, go ahead. You wear what you want to wear because you're comfortable in your own skin. You're going to see the women getting represented so properly today.
When I say slut, you say what? Slut, slut.
It says gold digger, hoe, scammer, slut, bitch, fat bitch, diet, or
All right, I had enough. I had enough. But for some odd reason, you have so-called educated African women who think this is going to work in Africa when there is nothing to show for it here in Black America. Nothing of value. Again, for some odd reason, African women think that this is going to work in Africa. This is what we're dealing with here. But this is my issue with feminism, especially Black feminists. They will never. In fact, hold on, let's stop the show. Where are the Black feminists supporting Tamika Mallory right now? Where are they? Where are the Black feminists supporting Tamika Mallory? In regards to the equal pay, why haven't Black feminists as a whole confronted white women in regards to equal pay in Hollywood or equal pay in corporate America? Why haven't Black feminists, Black women, confronted Hollywood, confronted or partnered with white women? Oh, here we go. Stop the show. Why haven't white women held hands, locked arms with Black feminists in regards to making sure that Black women get equal pay? Get equal pay as their white women counterparts. Am I missing something? Because we can't just group equal pay for women, because we already know Black women are more than likely to get paid less than white women. We know Black women are more than likely to get paid less than white men. So where are the white women, okay, who will lock arms and hold hands and demand that Black women get the same pay as white women or white men? In fact, stop the show. Where are the white feminists in support of Monique? Where are they? Because for some reason, when it comes to slut walking and sexual liberation, and I can do what I want with my body, all the superficial clownery, and full support. But the minute Black women say we need to get paid the same amount as our white male counterparts or white women, where are the Black feminists to be? Where are the white feminists to be found? When Black women demand equal pay. I got to do a separate video on that. Nowhere to be found. So this is what we're dealing with. And Black women continue to get played. So you had Tamika Mallory, the face of the white women versus white women who voted for Trump march. Then you had another, hold on one second. Oh, here we go. There's another Black woman. Hold on, the Me Too movement. Tarana Burke. Here we go. Tarana Burke. Founder of the Me Too movement. Founded by a Black woman. Please tell me how Black women have actually benefited from the Me Too movement. Can somebody please tell me how Black women have benefited from the Me Too movement? I'd like to know. So it's founded by a Black woman. See what they're doing, they're putting Black women in front as the face of these movements that will, at the end of the day, will benefit white women. That's what they're doing. That's what's going on. So now it's come to the point because even the Democratic Party or liberals are starting to distance themselves from a number of Black people who supported Louis Farrakhan, but they love Margaret Sanger, absolutely love her. They won't renounce her, but they want you to renounce Louis Farrakhan. I have to do another video on this. So they want you to renounce Louis Farrakhan, but they refuse to renounce Margaret Sanger. And they give Margaret Sanger every excuse in the book. So you have Black women who are the faces of these movements that will not benefit the Black collective. That's what we're dealing with here. That's what we're dealing with. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. So I had to speak on that today. I'm gonna come back on later on because I really want to go in on the Louis Farrakhan versus Margaret Sanger situation. We need to go in on that because I think the sister was wrongfully terminated. Because again, how do you expect us to renounce Louis Farrakhan, but you support Margaret Sanger? Yeah, Doug, that's going on too. I'm gonna be busy tonight. I'm going to be busy tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna come back on later on. But everybody, make sure if you're new to the platform, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Also, make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, make sure you go to DynasAmir.com, go to searchforwhoover.com. Also go to Amazon.com, search your name, Dynasty Amir, please buy a book. And again, how do you want us, the same people who support Margaret Sanger, expect us to renounce Louis Farrakhan? The hypocrisy behind that. All right, you guys, till next time, peace.